Today's first news is that El Nacional claims that one of the reasons Ousmane Dembele left FC Barcelona for Paris Saint-Germain in the summer was because of the favoritism that one player receives. This has strained relations amongst some FC Barcelona wingers. Purchased in 2022 for a maximum price of $67.5 million, £55 million, from Leeds United, Rafinha was represented by Deco at the time of his move, according to BBC Sport. However, the two split up a year later when the former midfielder for Barca and Portugal was appointed as the team's sporting director, forcing Deco to close his agency. Barca is now coping with what the local media has called a crisis on the field after losing two of their past three games and needing defender Ronald Araujo's header in injury time to win last Saturday against Real Sociedad. Fans and the media are beginning to point fingers. El Nacional also claims that there is a breakdown in the squad due to what some players perceive to be Rafinha favoritism. El Nacional points out that Rafinha was viewed as a sellable asset during the summer, but that Deco's appointment as sporting director came to a standstill on his possible departure. Some teammates find it incomprehensible that Rafinha is still selected in spite of his bad play at the close of the previous season and the start of this one. Moreover, it is clarified that Ousmane Dembele's departure for PSG at the beginning of 2023 to 2024 was partly motivated by his perception of Rafinha leading the group without having earned it. Lamine Yamal, who was left out of Tuesday's Champions League loss to Shakhtar Donetsk, may be seen as the most recent victim of special treatment. El Nacional reports that the player's father took note of this, given that Lamine entered the game from the bench and was substituted in a lackluster quadruple replacement. To be fair to Rafinha and Xavi, this may not be much to look at. Ultimately, the 16-year-old needs to take occasional breaks and shouldn't be overworked if the intention isn't to burn him out, as was the case with Pedri and Ansu Fati. Regarding Dembele, it's likely that the offer of higher salaries, which Barca cannot afford, was the main driving force behind his departure. However, he also disclosed last week in an interview with L'Equipe that his attraction to PSG as a Frenchman was a major factor. It seems unlikely that Rafinha or any other player, regardless of his ties, is safe from the chop with Barca engulfed in debt, trying to navigate financial fair play limitations, and aiming to bring in new faces before next term. Today's second news is that the way FC Barcelona has performed since Frenkie de Jong was hurt, as Mundo Deportivo pointed out, suggests that the Catalans rely a lot on the Dutchman. De Jong last appeared on a football pitch on September 23, when he staggered off during halftime of a La Liga match at the Montjuic Stadium after pulling up with a knock. Barca revealed in the days that followed that he had sustained damage to his right ankle's tibiofibular syndesmosis. Although De Jong's name was not included in the squad lists for either last Saturday's trip to Real Sociedad or the El Clásico on October 28, there were still expectations that he may play. When De Jong eventually returns at the end of November following the impending international break, it will have been more than 2 months since his $80 million purchase from Ajax in 2019. This is the longest break the model professional has had at Barca. It's apparent that Xavi Hernandez, the head coach, and his team missed the 26-year-old when he plays. Oriol Romeu's form has declined since joining the team in the summer, maybe due to not having the number 21 on hand to correct his mistakes or provide a quick pass to. Because of this, Xavi has frequently utilized Ilkay Gundogan as a pivot, which prevents the former captain of Manchester City from playing in the more attacking roles in center midfield, where he regularly does his best work. Xavi frequently criticizes the team for lacking intensity, something De Jong excels at bringing to the table in large quantities. But when you only concentrate on the outcomes, it becomes even more obvious how much De Jong is missing. With De Jong by their side, Barca got off to an almost flawless start to the season. They went 7 games without losing with 6 wins and just 1 draw. However, in the last 3 games over a total of 9 fixtures, the Blaugrana has only managed 5 victories, 2 draws, and 2 losses due to De Jong's injury. Dependency on Lionel Messi and Pedri has been discussed previously, but it appears that Frenkie dependencia, as it would be called in Spanish, is also a thing these days. And to think that, according to The Athletic, Barca was prepared to let go of the player in the summer of 2022 after receiving an offer for him from Manchester United in mid-July, only for De Jong to stand his ground and not budge. For one thing, and under fire Xavi will likely be happy he never left.